Real quick, can we appreciate my boy Isagi for being able to think that fast mid-match? Like, he's doing this mid-match. Like, that's crazy to me. Bluelock has low-key changed the way I think about life. I never thought I'd say that as a person that doesn't watch sports anime at all. But Bluelock, I might have to start watching more sports anime after this. The two main things I took away from this anime so far, even though it's ongoing still, is that I didn't know soccer was going to be this hype in anime form. I knew soccer was hype, or football, from all my English viewers. I didn't know it was going to be this hype. Soccer is probably the most hype thing I've ever seen when it comes to sports clips. Like, this shit crazy. Like, the second thing is that to grow as a human being, you have to be able to change a lot of things about yourself. You have to be able to think differently about life around you. Basically, you got to learn how to adapt, right? Without adapting, you can't really grow as a human being. You can't really become a better person if you don't adapt to what's going on, which means you have to change something about yourself before you achieve anything, right? I may not play soccer, but I do play Rocket League. And, you know, games like those, they require you listen to some music while you're playing, you know? Or listen to the game's music, because it has good music in Rocket League too, because I don't know why, they have some good music in there. Anyway, how I do it, I use SOUNDCORE, okay? SOUNDCORE is my go-to headphones for everything music and everything on the computer, really. It just works. Everything is just sounds good, it looks good, you know, everything is perfect, okay? If you need some headphones, please go check out SOUNDCORE. Link will be in the description. Onto the video. Now, I don't watch sports anime. They never really seemed that interesting to me in the first place. But I'll be the first one for me to say that I might have to get into sports anime. You know, I might have to watch some other stuff, you know? I was already like low-key a soccer fan simply because I watched a lot of Sidemen. They obviously love soccer or football, and you know, by proxy I like it too, you know, and it's really fun to watch. Yeah, their love for soccer is on par to like destroying and his love for football or the American football. And I get it. I get why they like soccer so much. So when I heard there was going to be a soccer anime, I had to jump on it. Pause. It didn't disappoint at all. This show is amazing. We as humans tend to stick to what is comfortable and what we think is safe. Simply because it worked so well for us in the past, there's no reason to do anything different. But the problem is, if you truly want to grow as a human being or as a person in living in a type of society, especially in our society, you have to be able to change a lot about yourself, right? But you can't forget why you're doing this in the first place, right? You can change a lot about yourself, but don't forget who you are at the core, you know? One thing about it is that Bluelock shows you that process really well, right? One great example from the anime Bluelock is the Isagi's match with Naruhaya, right? And how basically Naruhaya is, I'm gonna say Naru. So Naru thinks that he and Isagi are very similar, which on the surface it seems that way. But I think Naru forgot that Isagi got that dog in him, you know. So they're not alike at all in that regard, but I digress. So Naru tried to copy Isagi's trick shot or his straight shot, and he missed. While on the other hand, Isagi copied what Naru did, and he won the goal. Now the difference between the two is I think for me, it seems pretty subtle, but they said it in the show, but like the more subtle thing is that for me is that Naru was not able to achieve what he wanted to achieve simply because he was not allowing himself to break down his past and break down who he used to be somebody new. right? He wasn't able to let go of who he used to be so he could be somebody completely new. Or not completely new, but be somebody who is able to get the win. While Isagi, on the other hand, is completely okay with getting rid of what he thought he knew and replacing it with something that he knows now. And that, in my opinion, is the main reason why Isagi is able to win that battle. And also because Isagi is just the GOAT, you know? The GOAT! The GOAT! Yeah, being able to adapt as a human being is similar to being able to go Super Saiyan as a Saiyan. It's literally in your DNA, right? It is just embedded in your DNA to be able to adapt to a lot of different situations. The thing is that you can't expect to fix a problem if you aren't able to adapt to said problem, right? You have to be able to adapt to be able to counter that problem and achieve success from that problem, right? For me, it seems like a lot of people nowadays are okay with letting other people dictate how they live their lives, so they end up not being good at adapting, or humans are good at adapting, but we adapted in the wrong way. That's a whole nother topic for something else. But the point is that we like to complain and we like to do all this complaining on social media, myself included. And a lot of times, we don't actually take the action to fix the problem. We just talk about it and then we just leave it there. We just leave the problem there because I think a lot of times we're too lazy to actually do the work and change the situation, to adapt to the situation. Naru is a good example of this, where he's someone that wants to succeed, but he is not willing to let go of who he used to be so he can succeed. He wants to continue to be who he used to be while also being someone new. And you can't do that. You can't be both. If you're both, you're basically just being your old self. But the thing is, it's interesting enough is that if you work hard enough, even while not changing, like even if you don't change, if you work hard enough, you can achieve some success. The problem is once you reach a certain level of success, and it's different for everybody, you're going to hit a certain, like a mental glass wall or a glass ceiling, and you're not going to be able to go above that. And you're going to be wondering, like, why aren't I going anywhere? Why is nobody watching me? Why is nobody, why am I not, making more success? It's because you're not willing to let yourself change. That's the biggest thing about winners, or in Bluelock's case, is strikers. To be a striker, you have to be able to completely change how you think about the game, how you think about soccer or football, in the anime sense. Similar to Naru, you won't notice that you hit a ceiling until after, right? And it won't happen all the time, but a lot of times it ends up happening like that, where people hit a ceiling and then they don't realize that they're at that ceiling until after they've fallen from grace, right? And then oh man, I was up there. I could have, if I would have just did this, I would have changed. But that's after the fact. It's too late now, right? In Naruto's case, in the anime, it's too late. Once he figured it out, it was too late. Now he got to go back home with his head down because he lost. It is what it is. There's winners and there's losers, right? The cool thing about real life is that you can always bounce back and try again. Bluelock, in Bluelock's case, is really extreme, because once you lose in Bluelock, you kind of can't play football or soccer anymore. I mean, you can't play it anymore in Japan, and that's crazy, right? So you gotta have to go to a different country and just play for a different country, which I think is completely fine. You can get a scholarship and stuff, so I don't think it's that big of an issue, but we'll see. We'll see what happens towards the end of the anime. But now that now you can start over. Now in real life, you can use what you learned when you were younger, and now you can make better decisions. That's what's important, is that you can make better decisions now because you didn't die from you failing. You just, didn't make it. Now you can use that experience and try again and keep going and get higher because you've learned. And now, because you've learned, you have adapted to the new information you've learned, Hey, there are no rules to being human, but I do think you need to trust your inner demon. You need to trust your inner monster, okay? Trust your intuition. Trust your instincts, okay? Your instincts usually don't steer you wrong, okay? And if they steered you wrong, then, well, I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you at the top. Senku Nation, stay wise.